If this found you, it's not an accident. There's a reason you're feeling this way, even if you can't fully explain it yet. Lately, something feels off, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet, persistent way. You wake up and something feels heavy. You move through your day, but part of you feels disconnected. Maybe you've started questioning things that once felt certain, your habits, your relationships, even who you thought you were. And that can feel unsettling. Because it doesn't look like progress. It feels like confusion, like you're falling apart instead of coming together, like something inside you isn't working the way it should. So you start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just feel normal again? Why does everything feel harder than it used to? But what if the question itself is wrong? What if nothing is wrong with you? What if you're not broken at all? What you're experiencing is something most people don't recognize when it first begins. It doesn't come with clarity. It doesn't arrive with a label. It often starts as discomfort, a quiet unraveling. For a long time, your mind has been running on patterns, thoughts you didn't question, beliefs you inherited, emotional reactions that became automatic. This is how the brain works. It creates loops, familiar ways of thinking and feeling that keep you operating on autopilot. And for a while, that autopilot feels like safety. But there comes a moment when that same autopilot starts to feel like a cage. You begin to notice your thoughts instead of just believing them. You start to feel emotions more deeply, even the uncomfortable ones you used to avoid. Things that once distracted you no longer satisfy you in the same way. This is the moment everything begins to shift, not because you're losing control, but because you're becoming aware. And awareness changes everything. When you start observing your inner world, something subtle but powerful happens. You create space between you and your thoughts, between you and your emotions. You begin to realize that not everything you feel is who you are. But that realization can feel disorienting, because if you're not your old patterns, then who are you? This is where many people panic. They try to go back to the familiar, back to the version of themselves that felt predictable even if it wasn't peaceful. But once awareness begins, you can't fully unsee it. And that's why it feels like everything is breaking. Old identities start to dissolve. Old beliefs no longer feel true. Even relationships can feel different because you're no longer engaging from the same version of yourself. It's not that your life is falling apart. It's that the version of you who lived that life is evolving. This is what awakening often looks like in the beginning. Not light, not clarity, but confusion, sensitivity, emotional intensity, because you're no longer numbing, you're feeling, and feeling, after a long time of disconnection, can feel overwhelming. But here's the shift. This is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Every uncomfortable emotion you're noticing is something that was already there. You're just finally aware enough to feel it. Every thought you're questioning is a pattern that has been running quietly in the background for years. Nothing new is being created. It's being revealed. And that changes how you meet this moment. Instead of resisting what you feel, you begin to observe it. Instead of labeling yourself as broken, you start asking, what is this trying to show me? Because your inner world is not attacking you. It's communicating with you. That anxiety you feel might be the part of you that knows something in your life no longer aligns. That emptiness might not be a void, but space being created for something more real. That overthinking might be your mind trying to hold on to control as something deeper begins to shift. When you stop fighting these experiences, something softens. You don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be present with what is. So right now, take a slow breath in and let it out gently. Notice what's happening inside you without trying to change it. There's a quiet power in that. Because presence breaks the cycle of unconscious reaction. It brings you out of the past patterns and into this moment. And in this moment, you're not broken. You're aware. Another simple shift you can begin practicing is this. When a difficult thought appears, instead of believing it immediately, gently say to yourself, "This is just a thought, not a fact, not a truth, just a thought passing through your mind." That small awareness creates space, and in that space you begin to reclaim your power. And when emotions rise, instead of pushing them away, try placing your attention on your body. Feel where that emotion lives. Your chest, your stomach, your throat. Breathe into that space. You're not trying to get rid of the feeling, you're allowing it to move through you. Because emotions, when felt fully, don't stay stuck, they release. And slowly, something changes. Not all at once, not in a dramatic way, but gradually you begin to feel more grounded, more connected, more like yourself, but in a way you've never felt before. A version of you that isn't built on fear or habit, but on awareness. And that's the deeper truth. You're not losing yourself, you're meeting yourself. The discomfort you feel is part of the transition. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And that space can feel uncertain, but it's also where transformation happens. So if you've been feeling like something is wrong with you, like you're too sensitive, too emotional, too lost, take a moment and consider this. Maybe you're not too much. Maybe you're finally feeling what you were never allowed to feel before. Maybe you're not lost. Maybe you're just no longer willing to follow a path that wasn't truly yours, and maybe, just maybe, you're awakening. Not into something outside of you, but into a deeper awareness of what's already within you. So be gentle with yourself in this process. You don't need to rush, you don't need to force clarity. Everything is unfolding in its own time. And you are exactly where you need to be. If this message resonated with you, there's a reason for that. This kind of awareness grows when you keep exploring it. So if you feel called to understand yourself on a deeper level, you can subscribe and stay connected. There's more here that might help you make sense of what you're experiencing. And if you're not ready to leave this space yet, there's another video waiting for you that continues this journey inward. Sometimes the answers you're searching for are already finding their way to you.